So, tipping. It's that thing where you finish a meal, feel a moment of peace knowing you've paid the bill, and then suddenly remember, oh wait, I need to leave extra money to avoid being a horrible person. And if you don't, well, let's just say your server will probably remember your face forever, and not in a good way. But where did tipping even come from? Like many unnecessary social rituals, the British are to blame. In the 17th century, British aristocrats thought it would be a fun way to show off their wealth by giving their servants a little extra cash after meals. It wasn't about saying thanks. It was more like, look how rich I am. I can give away money without even noticing. This whole tipping as a flex idea spread across Europe, and when it hit America in the 19th century, people hated it. In fact, Americans were probably extra shocked when they found out this annoying tradition wasn't from France. That's right, tipping was super unpopular in the US at first. People thought, wait, why should I pay someone extra for doing their job? It wasn't until businesses realized they could use tipping as an excuse to pay their workers less, way less, that it stuck around. By introducing sub-minimum wages, employers made tipping a necessity for workers just to make a living. And voila, tipping became deeply ingrained in American culture. Fast forward to today, and leaving anything less than 20% will get you some serious side-eye. Now, here's where things start to feel a little off. In the US, tipping is no longer just a bonus. It's a survival strategy for workers who are often paid below minimum wage. This system forces the customer to essentially subsidize the worker's salary because employers don't want to pay a livable wage. It's a clever way for businesses to save money, but ethically, it feels like a pretty raw deal for the workers. You're put in this awkward position where your server's livelihood partially depends on whether or not you had a good day and feel like tipping 20% instead of 10%. It's almost like capitalism found a way to pass the responsibility of fair wages onto the customers. Nice. And let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Tipping isn't just a local phenomenon, it's a global one. Worldwide, tipping generates an estimated $150 billion every year across all industries. That's a lot of extra money just to avoid feeling awkward. In the US alone, people tipped $47 billion in restaurants in 2022. Add another $2 billion in ride-sharing services like Uber, $5.2 billion in food delivery tips, and $6 billion in tips for hairdressers. Basically, if you've ever wondered why service workers seem to expect a tip for literally everything, it's because there's a ton of money at stake. Now, let's talk psychology, because tipping isn't just about being nice, it's about understanding how people's minds work. Sure, smiling helps, but that's just the start. Research shows that when waiters introduce themselves by name, they're more likely to receive higher tips. It creates a sense of connection, even if it's brief. And here's a fun one. Studies have shown that drawing a smiley face on the bill can also boost tips. It's like the customer thinks, they took the time to doodle for me, and boom, more money. But wait, there's more. If the weather's nice, like sunny and pleasant, people tip more generously. Apparently, sunshine equals higher tips. And for all you service industry workers out there, here's a little bonus tip from the experts. Compliment your customers. No, really. If you say something like, wow, you have great taste, or I love that jacket, they're more likely to feel a connection and leave a bigger tip. It's all about making them feel good. But here's the key. Compliments work best when they're genuine and subtle. Don't go overboard with flattery, because people can spot insincerity a mile away, and it can come off as trying too hard. Instead, make your compliments thoughtful and tasteful. Notice something specific about the person that feels authentic, like, that color really suits you, or you made a great choice with the wine. When done right, it feels natural and leaves a positive impression. Another study found that repeating a customer's order back to them verbatim can increase tips. So when they say, I'll have the steak medium rare, you respond, got it, steak medium rare. It makes the customer feel like you're paying attention, which, surprise, surprise, leads to more money. But while we're on the subject of making customers feel good, let's not ignore the bigger issue. Tipping, at its core, puts workers in a vulnerable position. Instead of being guaranteed a livable wage, they have to rely on the generosity or guilt of customers to make ends meet. And in a capitalist system that's designed to maximize profit, it's the workers who end up shouldering the burden. By paying them less and expecting customers to make up the difference, businesses get to cut costs while workers are left wondering if their rent will be covered by this weekend's tips. So the next time you're debating whether to leave 10% or 20%, just remember, you're carrying on a tradition that not only started as a flex by the rich, but has also been manipulated to keep wages down. So, whether you're in a fancy restaurant or just getting a ride home, tipping has become a global ritual with a lot of awkwardness, a lot of money, and unfortunately, a lot of ethical baggage attached. If you work in the service industry, don't underestimate the power of a small gesture, a compliment, or even just drawing a smiley face. And if you're a customer, just remember, you're continuing a tradition started by some rich guy who wanted to show off. And now it's part of a system that expects you to do the right thing, even when the system itself isn't. If you liked this video and learned something new, give it a thumbs up. And if you've got ideas for future topics, leave them in the comments. See you next time.